If there was a Pokemon that looks like it was designed to break a Lego builder's brain, it would be Zygarde. I'd have to figure out how to build an articulating serpentine body, design a head with glowing eyes, add custom detailing to 5 massive horns, and build a play feature replicating its signature move 1,000 arrows. That would be absolutely insane. Let's break it down. Let's jump right into the good stuff and figure out this articulating serpentine body. I wanted to create a segmented design for Zygarde's snake-like body by building one unit that could be repeated several times. This initial design uses a technique that I learned from my friend Build Ninja. Let me show you how it's done. Even though it's not Zygarde's most powerful form, its 50% serpent form is the form that most people recognize. And by the time you're watching this, Pokemon Legends ZA is already out, which means all eyes are on this particular pocket monster. So yeah, I'm feeling the pressure to nail this build. I mean, if I mess up, I'm basically disrespecting the box legendary for one of the most anticipated Pokemon games in years. But luckily for me, Build Ninja's technique feels absolutely perfect for replicating Zygarde's body, because the axle bricks act as a shaft for these axles with stops and balls, allowing each section to move independently, bending in 4 directions instead of just 2, all while maintaining a good amount of friction. Nice. But even though I love how this technique works, when I connected the chest assembly, it turned out to be way too heavy. I hadn't even attached the head yet, and the whole thing was flopping around like a Magikarp in a frying pan. Fail number 1, and I was starting to wonder if Zygarde was meant to break not only my spirit, but my aura. Get it? Aura, like aura break, like, you know, Zygarde's ability? Come on, you gotta drop a sub for that critical hit of a dad joke. Luckily, I think I've got a solution. Instead of using double ball joints, we'll switch to one of my all-time favorite Lego pieces, this massive rotation joint. Unfortunately, that means we'll lose some of that unique side-to-side movement from the first design. But what we lose in articulation, we'll gain in friction and stability, which is crucial not only for supporting the upper body's weight, but for also holding some dynamic poses. And be sure you stick around until the end because you're definitely going to want to see those poses. But to use this new joint, we'll need to tweak the design a bit. If we swap out the axle bricks for 1x4 Technic bricks, we can attach the rotation joints no problem. Or at least that's what I thought. That actually turned out to be wishful thinking because, of course, that created a new issue. The rotation bricks are wider than the axle bricks, so they hang over the edge of each body segment. If we don't fix that, the whole thing will rock from side to side when we try to get it into some of those cool poses I was talking about. So we'll need to widen each segment slightly, and honestly, that gives us a chance to add some more detail anyway. We'll use these 1x2 lower brackets to create some much needed texture along the sides. And then we'll cover each side with these green 1x2 slopes. Last but not least, drop in that rotation joint from earlier and boom, the body segment is done. Now just build up 5 more of those. Just imagine what this thing is gonna look like when all 6 segments are connected. But for now, let me show you not 1, but 2 killer head designs. My first head design, hot Garbodor. But like seriously, thank Madanui for my design tech Harvard who came up with this masterpiece of a head design. His version is insanely accurate to the original, and he uses these hinges to get the perfect angle for Zygarde's eyes. But I'll need to modify the design just a bit to add one of the coolest features of this entire build. First though, let me show you how my redesigned head is built. Start by filling in an inverted slope with a couple of plates, then attach it to this 4x6 angle plate. Add a 1x6 plate to the back for length, then stack a few plates to build up the height. We'll add a 1x4 bracket to fill in the sides later. Then drop in a few wedge plates and brackets so that we can use these cheese slopes to build out the mandibles. Use a socket brick for the neck connection, and then toss in a few random plates to get the height just right. If we use these clips and bar studs, we can angle the eyes slightly forward to really nail that piercing Zygarde stare. We'll keep Harvard's hinge setup, but we're gonna rotate each of them 90 degrees. I'll explain why in a second, but for now, let's stay focused. Fill out the back of the head with a few more plates. Use these jumper plates to keep the eyes aligned and then curved slopes to replicate the spikes on the back of his head. If you know me, you already know that I'm going to use these vent slopes for mechanical detailing and vibes. Now add these tiles in for the eyes to confirm the placement, and dang, these came out perfect. A couple more slopes and plates and boom. Look at this head sculpt. Harvard, you really are the MVT, Brody. Drop a like for this man's amazing work. All right, here's where things get spicy. I needed to tweak Harvor's head design to include what might be the coolest feature in this entire build. Zygarde's eyes glow and it has these scales that shimmer all over its body. So I wanted to recreate that using a pulsing light effect. I'm a Lego builder, not an electrical engineer, so I knew that I'd need help if I was going to pull this off. That's when I reached out to my friend Rob over at BRICKS. He makes custom Lego lighting kits for all kinds of builds. Rob's a wizard and he even was able to make a custom program board that gives us the exact pulsing effect we wanted. And just to be clear, this is not sponsored. I paid for all of these components myself with my hard-earned Poké dollars. But I'm not a gatekeeper and I always want to share the best resources that I can when I find them. And BRICKS stuff is absolutely legit. Check their stuff out. These lights are small enough to fit neatly inside of these hollow studs, but that introduces a new challenge: trying to find a way to make these wires look neat. Each light has a long cable, and I don't want the wires hanging out of the back of the model. Plus, we need to hide the power supply somehow. Rob sent over two options, one powered by AAA batteries and another powered by coin batteries. Our team debated and narrowed the options down to two possible solutions. Option A was to build a base around the AAA battery pack. This would look absolutely awesome because if we did it right, it could resemble the cave where Zygarde is found in Pokemon X and Y. But it would mean that the model would have to stay locked into place on the base, which would essentially kill the play value. And y'all know me, if I can help it, I am always going to prioritize play over everything else. So we're going with option B, which is to try to find a way to connect or hide the coin battery pack and circuit board in the chest or somewhere else on the model. The only problem is that the coin cells are not super powerful and we don't know how long they're gonna last. Plus, this means that we would need to do a complete redesign of the chest assembly, which is going to be rough since we're trying to drop this video alongside Legend ZA, and today is actually Thursday. The game came out last night at midnight. So yeah, we're cutting this thing close. But like I always say, Modern Nui didn't raise no quitter, so let's lock in and try to figure this thing out. Okay, so it looks like the coin battery component is about 3 studs wide by 7 studs high, and about a brick deep. Thankfully, the custom control board is even smaller, just 2 by 5 studs and a plate or so deep. You know, this actually might end up being even easier than I thought. Because I designed the chest using these large Technic bricks, we should be able just to remove them and place the electronics inside. Give me just a second while I see if I can get these pieces to fit into place. You know, I wonder if this is how Pokemon feel when they're getting jammed into their Pokeball for the first time. This is honestly a really tight fit. We should be able just to cap this off with a few plates and, oh my Arceus, it actually fits. Having this extra hole on top of the Technic brick will also give us a great place to feed these excess wires through. Now, we just need to see if the lights work and, oh my God, let's Duckling go! This is so freaking cool. This turned out way better than I thought it would. All we need to do now is build up the chest using a few slopes and rounded plates for the arm connection. Orienting these rounded plates this way will give the arms some limited articulation. Now let's move on to the horns, or wings, or the spikes, or whatever they are on Zygarde's back. Zygarde has 5 of these massive obelisk-shaped spike things. I had a few of these long black... Pause. I had a few of these curved slopes left over from a previous build, so getting the base shape was actually pretty easy. The tricky part was finding out how we can get these 2 green hexagons on each spike. We actually ran into the same problem from the 10% build. There are no connection points on the outside to attach them. That's when my wife came up with a genius idea. Why not make custom stickers using her Cricut? Honestly, bricking genius. Even better, I found lime green vinyl that glows in the dark, which adds to Zygarde's kind of glowy aura. This idea turned out to be super effective, and now I'm absolutely going to be making more custom stickers for future builds. All right, we're almost done, but no BKHBRICKS Pokemech is complete without a play feature. Zygarde's signature move is 1,000 Arrows, where it fires these green energy bolts at its opponents. So I built 4 blaster cannons using rotating stud launchers to replicate that attack. It may not exactly be 1,000, but you get the idea. I even picked up some of these neon studs to make it feel even more accurate. Now, all we need is the final assembly and the money shots. This may be my favorite Pokemon build yet. Now that we've tackled Zygarde's 10% form and his 50% form, all that leaves is his complete form, the 100% kaiju-sized build. And trust me, you're not gonna wanna miss that. Until we build again, trainers, peace and play well.